This is being recorded through Zoom only for our Cannabis Church YouTube channel and our official podcast on the Murdock Worldwide Entertainment Network. These are my opinions and do not represent the views or opinions of anyone else but me. I'm not selling any products or any cannabis here, and I'm not here to save your soul. Welcome to Sunday service, where we preach the holy healing plant, God's gift to Mother Earth. No judge, just love. All pronouns and faiths or faithless are welcome at Cannabis Church. We are here to end the stigma of the devil's lettuce and connect to better wellness personally, spiritually, socially, and for the planet. Whether you need connection to humanity or the universe or the great creator of your choice, or if you just need some good vibes and to meditate with love and light, all are welcomed with green grace in this safe space. I'm your pastor, Casey. You can partake in the smokable or edible sacred sacrament of your choice at any time during Cannabis Church. I have a bunch of CBD in me currently to keep me as pain-free as I possibly can be while I'm doing this. But first, let me pray real quick. Hello, universe. Thank you for another week. I'm feeling blessed and humbled to be here today. I almost canceled church today because of yesterday. We'll talk about that in a second. Thank you for the sacred plant and all the CBD that helped with the inflammation in my neck that was causing so much pain and migraines and messed up my day yesterday so that I can even be here today with friends and family. Bless all these people. I'm humbled that they are there. Love them. May the sacred plant bless their endocannabinoid system and help them with any pain they're dealing with and any mental clarity they need, and especially any spiritual health they need moving forward. Thank you very much, universe. With all my love, amen. All right. Thank you to Brother Darrell Johnson for bringing in that plant love vibe with the music he generously donated to Cannabis Church that y'all can hear on the official recording. It's not here live. We are live on Clubhouse, live on my Down the Road Show Facebook. We are also live on the Green Room with the original Cannabis family. Pleasure to have you all here. And like I said, don't worry, this is only being recorded currently through Zoom. So none of y'all are in this. But balance. Balance. The universe is chaos, but in balance. The universe always has a way of, kind of balancing itself out. And so it is with us as humans, as spiritual beings living this human existence, or spiritual beings having a human experience. I do like that phrase, having a human experience. We are our own universe. And finding the space in ourselves to get balance is one of the most important things we can do for ourselves. I know I was out of balance, and that's why I almost canceled church today, because of not paying attention to my own balance and my own health and making sure that I stayed in balance. It's been an issue throughout all of my life. I love talking to balance, and I've helped many people find balance in their life in different ways. But, that whole do as I say, not as I do thing. Well, now I'm doing as I say, because I have to for my own health purposes. And part of balance in ourselves is talking kindly to ourselves with compassion and love. Because I know I'm my own worst critic. I'm guessing I'm not alone in that. Music has been a part of my life since I was a kid. I was singing before I was talking, before I was walking. And as a musician, man, I took myself seriously, overly seriously. And nobody was a bigger critic of my music and my lyricism and my singing than me. At the same time, no one was a bigger fan than me. But it's that self-criticism, that self-doubt that can take us out of balance. Keeps us from moving forward, keeps us from living our true purpose, and finding that balance we need to live in the moment, to be present daily. Cannabis has always helped me with that balance. Some of my worst performances as a musician live were I got too drunk before the show. Once that dawned on me, cannabis never ever got in the way. It always enhanced my performances. It enhances my creativity in all forms of creativity. And once I realized that, I stopped drinking before shows and had much better sets consistently because of that. And like I've said a million times, and I'll keep saying it, every stupid, dumb decision I've ever made was on alcohol, not cannabis. Now I don't do music anymore, and I love doing video production. I love directing. I love producing. Don't enjoy the editing process as much, but I do enjoy it. But I love putting together a good video production, and you know, that's why I have Down the Road Shows YouTube channel and so much content on there for the last 10 years. And you can go back to the beginning and you can actually see my progress. I've had people ask me, you know, why don't you take some of that down? And it's just like, because that's my progress. That's where I started. You can literally see how bad I was as a director and a producer and an editor compared to where I am now 10 years later. I'm proud of the progress I've made as a producer and an editor and a director and a filmmaker. In fact, I just barely started using the word filmmaker. I didn't feel worthy of, you know, there's that unbalance in myself and that self-doubt. I didn't feel worthy of calling myself a filmmaker. I do now. But it took me a while to get there. That progression and finding balance in myself, in my mind, in my soul, in my heart, so that I could keep moving forward and progressing to where I am now. Look at some of my early interviews. They're not good. They're not good. Like, how was I getting interviews with some of these celebrities? It's because I talk a good game, and I was denied lots of interviews, but I would go around the agent and around the Comic-Con themselves and go directly to the celebrities. And every interview I've ever gotten has been because the celebrity themselves or the business person themselves or whoever always said yes. They wanted to do the interview, not because of some PR person or some company. You know, I'm small in the cog. I'm small when it comes to being internet famous, and I've been introduced at Hollywood parties as internet famous, and I'm not real fond of that, but it is what it is. And I had an interview with William Atherton, great actor, and in the comments on my YouTube, you know, someone called me a fat nobody, and that is me and Bat's favorite way to refer to myself as a fat nobody, because it's just funny. It didn't offend me. And they were right. Like, I kept interrupting him during the interview, like not letting him finish his sentence. And I learned a lot from that, especially seeing myself on camera after the fact and being able to change and progress and move forward and find balance as an interviewer to ask the right questions, hopefully, not interrupt the person that I'm interviewing so that they can tell their story, because I love hearing other people's stories. And more than that, I love sharing other people's stories. That's so great. The more stories we get out there, especially cannabis related, the more we can end the stigma behind it and the lies and the propaganda, and we can get things moving in the right direction as a cannabis community. But I had to find balance in myself as an interviewer and a balance in the interview on where to interject my own statements and my own, personal experiences that relate to what the person I'm interviewing is talking about. Which is why I could have a 2-hour interview with Damien this week, and why I look forward to my interview with Andrea in the future, because I know that's probably going to be a good 2-hour interview too. Because I've found that balance. It's so important to find balance in life. Balance in self, mentally, spiritually, socially, physically. And cannabis always has helped me find that balance mentally with my ADHD, with depression through different times of my life because of things that have happened. That cannabis has always been there to help balance me out, whether I knew it was doing it or not. Now I know. I didn't know when I was an alcoholic, 20 years as a bartender. Yeah, I do a lot of drinking. There was a time when I couldn't even go into work because I hated my job so much unless I'd already had 2 margaritas in me before I even showed up to work. That's not balance. And I knew it was wrong. It didn't feel good. I wasn't living a balanced life mentally. And thanks to quitting drinking, cannabis helped me quit drinking. Now I'm more balanced mentally. I've been through plenty of stuff that I have depression issues with, that I'm dealing with today. Cannabis helps me find that balance. It's the only thing that works for me. No big pharma pills. Those just make me completely incoherent and incapable of conversation. They don't do anything for my pain management. And they all have given me a different side effect that is permanent that now I have to deal with. So I just won't even take any more pills now. None of these crazy big pharma pills for me. Some aspirin or BC powder, which is a aspirin form, but crushed up in powder, because I have a hard time swallowing even more than I did, when I was younger, because of my throat issues, which is part of a side effect from a neuropathy drug. Thanks for that, big pharma. Also, thanks for the heart attack. Cannabis doesn't give me hangovers. Cannabis doesn't give me liver issues or ulcers. Cannabis isn't a poison. Cannabis is stored in our fat cells. My body holds on to it. My body craves it. The THC in cannabis is one of the only things that really helps me with intense neck pain that causes migraines in the back of my skull. Like I can hear my heart beating in the back of my skull. Can't think, can't concentrate. That's what happened to me yesterday. So I couldn't even write this sermon. I got some bullet points again. Was going to write this whole thing out, but never got to that because I was unbalanced yesterday. Cannabis has helped me with my spiritual health and spiritual balance, where I've had this calling to start a non-denominational church, a place for people to come together to just talk and be communal and be human and be compassionate. And it was cannabis that helped me find the balance in myself spiritually to focus my direction and my intent to really fulfill and live my purpose. Spot Pastor Casey, as my shirt says. And that's why we're here at Cannabis Church. Because the cannabis community and cannabis itself helped me with my intention moving forward, finding balance. Socially, every fight I ever broke up at a bar was between drunks, not cannabis users. You go ask a cop. Ask a cop just go up to an officer. Go up to an officer you don't even know and ask them. I already know the answer, but you ask them. if they're pulling someone over, or they're going to a domestic dispute, or they get a call to something, are they going to prefer showing up to people on cannabis, a bunch of smokers, or on alcohol, or cocaine, or meth, or heroin, or any of those horrible, nasty, hard drugs? You know, to each their own, but not for me. And I already know the answer. It's cannabis is the top of their list. I know. I have asked. I have asked that question to an officer friend of mine. They don't want to be busting people for it, for the fake war on drugs. Bunch of BS. Putting themselves in harm's way over that, when they got raging alcoholics and other hardcore drugs that take people out of their mind, out of their balance as a human being, and make them violent and make them act out and make horrible decisions. And like I say, every horrible decision I've ever made was on alcohol, not cannabis. And physically, cannabis helps me. All the different cannabinoids we haven't really researched enough of, because we can't. And if it wasn't for the amount of CBD I put in me yesterday, I literally wouldn't be here today. Literally couldn't be here today. Not an exaggeration. I was going to cancel church and just open up rooms so y'all could chat. Just so it was here. But all that CBD I ingested yesterday and before bed got me here. Because I need a balanced diet. I'm hyperglycemic, okay? I found that out the hard way back in like 2003, I want to say, maybe 4, somewhere around there. Doing my workout, my normal routine at a 24-hour fitness, but it wasn't my normal routine because I woke up late that day and hungover, and I didn't eat that morning like I normally would before going to work out. So I went to work out on an empty stomach. A lot of people prefer working out on an empty stomach. Not the smartest move when you're hyperglycemic, but as a bartender without insurance, how was I supposed to know I had hyperglycemia? Started feeling woozy and not right while I was on an exercise bike, and was like, I think I need to go get something to eat. I think I need to get out of here. So I ended my cardio early, and I'm walking out of 24-hour fitness, and I black out and I pass out and I hit the floor. And I come to with 2 off-work firemen hovered over me. God bless the firemen. God bless EMS and first responders and all of them, which is why, another reason, they deserve cannabis in their lives. They deserve legal cannabis and the right to choose cannabis for them, for all they do for us around the world as first responders, quite frankly. I'm all about that and always will be all about that for them. But I'm like, no, I'm just going to go relax in my car. Don't worry about me. Stand up, black out, hit the ground again. Blacked out and passed out 3 times within 5 minutes. Ambulance comes, and I'm like, no, I don't need to go to the hospital. I don't want an ambulance. Because I don't have insurance. I can't afford that. And I know that. But I had no choice in the matter. And like the fireman said, they're like, hey, bro, we just watched you pass out 3 times in 5 minutes. You are not okay. So I go to the hospital, and the first thing they do is feed me. And then they want to give me a heart test, which, I have a pretty good ticker, thank goodness. Found that out that day, because the first thing they do after you eat is throw you on a treadmill so that you can get your heart pumping. I'm like, wait a minute, this is how I just passed out, and do all the blood work and come back, and they tell me I'm hyperglycemic and explain that to me and let me know I gotta live a balanced diet life moving forward. Did I always? No. Did I yesterday? No. Because my health now is even more dependent on a balanced, healthy diet than it ever was before. As all this started happening with me when my arthritis kicked in and the neuropathy started 4 summers ago, I quit sugar because I could feel it affecting me. Like I could feel it in my gut. So no more sugar, no more creamer in my coffee. No more syrup on any kind of breakfast, breakfasty pancake. I use honey now, all natural, delicious. Maybe I need to get me some good natural Vermont maple syrup. We'll talk about that off of here, Damien. But, I use honey for most things now for when it comes to those kind of breakfast things. Had a waffle this morning with peanut butter and a fig jam on there. Normally it would be honey, but we got this great fig jam from Texas that's delicious and goes great on a waffle. Highly recommend trying something like that. But cutting sugar out of my diet, and I stopped drinking, which means no more mixed drinks with sodas and all that sugar and all the alcohol that turns into sugars in our body as well. Man, I dropped like 15 pounds in 2 months. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was good crazy. And then I noticed eggs were affecting me different. Cut back on eggs. My body was suffering in ways I didn't know it was suffering yet. And a balanced diet was letting me know, hey, listen to your body. You need more of this. You need more plants, more vegetables, more fruits. And it wasn't until 2 years ago, while figuring out what was going on with my neck, because, I got all kinds of different issues. But when this neck kicks up, man, whoo-wee, not fun. When I was reading online and, doing more research on arthritis and what arthritis is, which is inflammation of the joints, and like, okay, well, how do I get less inflammation? Diet, right, Andrea? Diet. All those things that cause inflammation. Lactose, gluten, sugar, there's other things. So I started taking things out of my diet. Took lactose out took lactose out first. Man, I miss cheese. Oh, boy, do I miss cheese. That's what got me in trouble yesterday. But that wasn't enough. And then took gluten out of my diet, and that helped immensely with my neck pain and the migraines it would cause. And got me back in balance. Or as balanced as I can be now with everything going on. And so, yeah, I miss those things, and it gets tough sometimes. And on the really bad days where I can't get out of my bed. I can't go to the kitchen. I can't make sure I'm the one feeding me. Ordering stuff at restaurants or takeout or delivery, like, are they making it right? If there's like a little bit in there they forgot of lactose or gluten, it doesn't take much to set off my neck anymore. And I don't know sometimes when I'm eating it. And that's what happened yesterday. I was already nauseous. I can get nauseous from the pain in my neck can get so severe, it causes nausea, let alone the hyperglycemia part. And yesterday I was busy doing stuff, and all of a sudden it was lunchtime and I was starting to get nauseous. And my sister's like, oh, glad you came out here. I'm hungry. You want tacos? I'm like, yes, I need tacos. So we went to our favorite taco truck around the corner to get some birria tacos, which is goat meat tacos. It's my favorite taco truck in all of Albuquerque. But they were out of birria. So we went across the street to another taco truck that has birria that also comes with that beefy, spicy au jus sauce that you can dip your tacos into. That's just absolutely delicious. But when we got home, I ended up with my sister's order, and she ended up with mine. Both had cheese on them. Melty, melty, melty cheese. No getting rid of it. And at this point, I'm getting nauseous and I need to eat. I have no choice. I'm just going to live with the consequences of this cheese. So I mow down that first taco when we realize I have my sister's and hers is flour. So now I have gluten and lactose in me. And then we trade so I can get my corn tacos that still are just tons of melty cheese, no getting rid of. Then I devour those. About a half an hour later, That's when the trouble starts and the neck kicks in and the migraines, couldn't focus, couldn't think, trying to have family time because my niece and nephew were here with their son, my little nephew that I love dearly and love my older niece and nephew dearly. So I'm just out there suffering and just trying to hang on and enjoy some family time as much as I can in that state, and got a ton of CBD in me. And before I went to bed, didn't think I'd be here today, but woke up well enough to be here today. Neck hurts, got a little bit of a headache, but it's not how it was yesterday. Otherwise, y'all would be on your own. There would be no cannabis church today. But I was out of balance. And sometimes, when I'm that bad, I can't control my own diet and it makes me worse. And that was one of those moments. And that's why a balanced diet is more important to me physically now, today, more than ever, and moving forward. I took the risk. It's a calculated risk. I lost that calculation. I lost that bet. That is for sure. So moving forward, I got to do my best to stay balanced in that diet. And cannabis helps me when I'm feeling nauseous because of food or lack thereof. Cannabis always takes away my nausea like that, especially the THC part of cannabis. But here we are as a cannabis community. How do we find that balance between hemp versus cannabis? Because we know it's the same plant, right? We know hemp and cannabis are the same plant. And they like to call it marijuana versus hemp when it comes down to legislation and writing laws. And how do we as a community push the balance of that moving forward? Because we're on the same team. The hemp community and the cannabis community are on the same team. Sometimes we don't act like it because, there's industrial hemp, so many products we can make that we need to move forward with, versus the cannabis users, the medical cannabis side versus adult use cannabis side. And that's just, I'm just talking about here in the States, let alone globally, because it is our universal right as human beings to utilize cannabis as we see fit for our health, our overall wellness, and how much it could do to save the planet, right? Save the farmers here. So many farmers are going bankrupt in the States. We need to save the farmers. Hemp, industrial hemp can do that. And I've heard so many great conversations on Clubhouse talking about that, on how people are networking to try to get together to build the industry properly, because that way where it's grown here, it can be shipped over here to make different textiles, to make hempcrete, to make biodiesel fuel, to make batteries, to make hemp clothing, to make all the wonderful things we know industrial hemp can make. And that doesn't even include the seeds for feeding to the livestock and the seeds that the hemp hearts that help us, that are just so good for us. That's why we need to be on the same team, cannabis and hemp, because legislation is already trying to divide us. The naysayers are already against us. Like I always say, they want us to fail. They want the hemp and cannabis community to fail. Not just the people that are anti-smoking or edibles and stuff. The paper industry, the big pharma industry, the gas industry that causes so much destruction to the planet, and are the reasons we wage most of the wars we wage today, right? That's why we need Biden to pull his head out of his ass, to get together with the DEA and the FDA and take cannabis and hemp off the Schedule I drug list. It does not belong up there with cocaine and heroin and fentanyl. It's got vitamin A's, B's, and C's in it, riboflavin, it's got proteins, it's got natural fatty acids that we need. It has more nutrients in that one single plant than any other plant on the entire planet, including all the endocannabinoids, which help our endocannabinoid system. It's science, Biden. How much could this have helped your son? Not to bring up a sore subject, Biden. Cannabis could have helped your son with his addiction like it has helped so many people. And Biden says he's all about the veterans, but what about the veterans? Yeah, I'm still fucking pissed off about the veterans that we're leaving homeless, that we're not helping, that are scared living in illegal states. There's so many veterans in illegal states that would prefer cannabis over a handful of big pharma pills, but they'll lose their VA benefits if they get busted or they piss dirty. So they can't take the risk. Some of them take the risk anyway, because that's their God-given universal right to choose cannabis to deal with their physical pains and their mental pains that I don't have any idea what they are going through, nor should any human ever have to, for that matter. You are failing the veterans, Biden. I get all the emails from the Progressive Caucus, from the DNC all the time. And the second Biden was in there, cannabis was on all their little emails and their little surveys. It isn't anymore. It's not even suggested. They don't even talk about it. Nor is healthcare. Not even looking at it. You want to talk about infrastructure? Hemp. Hemp is part of our infrastructure in America, always was, from the founding fathers till we started this stupid prohibition over racist reasons and money and big lobbying reasons almost 100 years ago. You want to make up to the community of veterans, Biden? You want to support them and support the men in blue like you say you do, Biden? And hemp and cannabis is the way forward to do that. So the cops can do their jobs and not have to worry about some people just smoking a little bit of weed. We're getting CBD hemp confused on a giant raid with actual cannabis when this is a legal plant. And that definition between hemp and cannabis is just ridiculous anyway. You know, it's how you grow it. And oh no, some hemp actually only had 1% THC in it. That ain't going to do nothing to nobody. I smoke stuff with 30% THC, you know, and I have a high amount of pain, so I need a lot to, you know, really touch my pain threshold level. But nobody's ever overdosed on cannabis. Biden. Not like he's going to be watching this, but if anybody is and wants to share it with him and tag it. Nobody's ever overdosed on cannabis or CBD. My sister's like, oh, careful on how much CBD you're taking. It's like, no, that's what's feeding my endocannabinoid system, which feeds my nervous system and my immune system and helps keep those in balance. Because that's what your endocannabinoid system is for, keeping you in balance. Endocannabinoid system, it's got the word cannabinoids in it, which you can only find in certain plants, and its abundancy is in hemp and cannabis. And that's how we can get balance back to the earth, because hemp cleans the air and the water and the soil it's grown in. Animals have an endocannabinoid system too, so feeding them hemp will balance out our livestock and the health of animals across the planet, as well as ourselves and our own family, the community. That's why it's God's gift to Mother Earth. It provides the balance we need and we crave. It could reverse climate crisis. It could save the farmers. Look at all the empty fields we got out there now because they're not making money on what they're growing. We replace all those farms that are doing nothing with hemp farms, and now we've got better packaging for our cannabis industry, so we don't have to use so much plastic that we should be against naturally as a cannabis and hemp industry anyway. Better access to hemp-made clothes and all the different hemp products we crave, desire, and need that could help the world, that could help the infrastructure, the crumbling infrastructure of the states. Hemp and cannabis is the way for Democrats and Republicans to live up to their promises to their constituents. End of story. It will change the healthcare system for the better. Period. Cannabis and hemp are balanced. And I know when I'm without the THC part of cannabis, I've been out for a week, I feel unbalanced. Thank God I got enough CBD in the house to keep me going. But it's all about that whole plant. Started my day with some coffee on my second cup of coffee here, thanks to some hemp CBD infused coffee by Comma Hemp out of Ireland. Love you, Kate. Thanks for sending me this stuff. Super tasty. And it helps keep me caffeinated while getting some more CBD in my system to keep me balanced here today for Cannabis Church. And people are out there smoking and doing edibles and doing whatever they need to on this beautiful Sunday or rainy Sunday or wherever it's the weather's like, wherever you are in the world watching this or listening in live or checking this out after the fact. Doesn't matter when you're tuning in. Being here weekly isn't a requirement. I almost wasn't. But helping you find that balance, that is my purpose. Talking about cannabis and how it affects us and me individually and the planet, that is my purpose. That living that purpose gives me balance, gives me the balance I need and crave to be centered, to be present, to be in the moment, to be with y'all here on the green room and Clubhouse, and anyone that might be watching live on my Facebook. Cannabis helps me with that balance. And so that's why I'm here, to help continue my own balance and help other people with the religious freedom here in the United States of America to move forward with their cannabis worship, because it's a sacred plant to us. This is not a joke. This is not just for YouTube and a podcast. It's a sacred plant. Look at my shirt. It's got a halo. Cannabis leaf with a halo. It's on all my logos. On purpose. Because it's a sacred plant. It was given to us. It was gifted. It was gifted to us. I like that word. It was gifted to us. And we let other people tell us what we're allowed to do with that gift. And now, after almost 100 years of prohibition, look where we are as a society. It hasn't made things better. It made things worse, in my opinion. So cannabis and hemp can help heal ourselves, heal each other, heal society, and heal the planet, and get balance again that we need on this planet and as being part of the universe, so that we hopefully don't destroy this planet. Hopefully it's not too late. We need to be planting hemp everywhere. Now. So I hope everybody can find that own balance in their life with cannabis and figure out what works best for them. Because, you know, if you're not doing right by yourself, how can you help and serve others in your own family, in your community, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers? How can you help others when you're out of balance? How can you help yourself when you're out of balance? I couldn't help myself yesterday. I didn't even eat dinner. Thought of chewing or swallowing food, let alone even eating food yesterday. I was in so much pain. It was just out of the question. That's how out of balance I was and how much pain I was in. If I'd have had some cannabis to smoke, I could have gotten rid of that pain a little faster because it helps immediately. So I wish for you all balance. I wish for you all the personal freedom of choice to utilize cannabis and hemp and CBD in your own lives, how you see fit. Feel free to go check out the Gofundme.com/church startup, where I'm trying to raise money so I can make this an official recognized church in all 50 states in the United States, to push legislation and everything forward legally in the right way with religious freedom of cannabis. Because that's what I believe. It's what I have faith in. Besides my God, above all things, I have faith in cannabis, and I believe in the sacred cannabis plant. Like I believe in all of y'all that are down there listening right now and watching this or listening to this later, wherever, in your own time. So with much love and green grace, and just thank you for being here again this week, for those who continue to come back. Let me just say a quick ending prayer, and I'm going to relinquish the green room to the community so we can have a chat and leave it open for as long as y'all want. Dear universe, thank you for the cannabis plant that is sacred to so many people, that brings balance to the planet, can bring balance to the community, brings balance to us mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. Thank you for helping me continue on my path, going down the road towards my purpose, fulfilling my purpose, to be here today with friends and family in the cannabis community that will hopefully grow and come together and unite even more so than we already are, with the name of hemp and cannabis, moving forward with legislation and products and helping heal the earth, heal each other. As always, I'm humbled and feel very gracious by this calling, and I'm very happy to be here. Bless all these people. Bless anyone not here. Bless this planet, that we can get this planet back in balance with the help of hemp and cannabis. Thank you, thank you, thank you, universe. Amen. With that said, thank you for all the subscribers and likes and comments to the official Cannabis Church YouTube channel. And don't forget, there's an audio podcast out there for those that prefer it. And with that being said, I'm going to end this live video on Facebook. Thanks for anyone who was there and for being here. Much love, much gratitude. And if you want to join the conversation moving forward here live, we'll be on Cannabis Church's room here on the green room, which I never changed the title to the actual sermon. Oh, that happens. I don't know what my production is. Yeah. Much love. Hope you all have a great Sunday.